Welcome to Time to Teach with Tammy, the podcast that gives tips, advice, and suggestions to teachers by a real teacher. So sit back and enjoy. And oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe. And welcome back to episode 79 of Time to Teach. Today's title is Class Update, and that's really all it is I'm just kind of updating. I do a few of these every now and again just to kind of update what's going on in my class, what are we doing, what am I working on, blah, 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 all these fine, wonderful things. So yeah, that's what I will be talking about today, just letting you know what's going on. Before we get started with today's episode, I do want to say that currently at the time of this recording, it is early May, so I have, I'm at the end of the school year, as are you. Well, I don't know when you're listening to this, but if you're listening to this when it's being published, then definitely you are. So all of that is to say is, as always, Time to Teach will soon be on summer break. So if you're a long-time listener, you probably know that I follow the breaks in my regular school year. And when we are on break, this show is also on break. I just find it to be very healthy. Really important for me just to have some time off from all things. Sometimes I'll do some extra bonus episodes, but they're not really planned and they're not guaranteed. It's just kind of spontaneous. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it does not happen. But it's just good for me because I'm doing this on top of teaching, and for me it's just a very heavy load. I mean, this is not a super heavy load, but just teaching in general, things are busy, life is busy, so it's really good for me to just kind of take breaks. I'm thinking that probably the beginning of June, possibly the most will be like mid-June, but the show might go on break even by beginning of June. I'm just gonna kind of play it by ear and see what happens. But yeah, just know that that is a thing that will be happening pretty soon at this point. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into today's show. Okay, so updating class. So basically, I am just returning from spring break. In fact, I've now been back for 1 week since spring break. We have 2 glorious weeks. It was very nice, refreshing. I did almost no work, nothing related to work, which was good. But I would say also I kind of came back and was like, had a lot of stuff to catch up on, but it was good taking 2 weeks off. I didn't really do much that first week, but the second week we rented a bungalow in a beach town a couple hours from here, so that was really nice. We spent about 4 nights, 5 days and 4 nights at the beach, so that was really, really good. And we got there really early. I didn't realize how close it was. This was the first time going to that particular beach town, but it was just a couple hours away. It was really good. We got there about 10-ish in the morning, so we really had that whole first day. So that was really nice. We did really well on getting out of town on time, so yeah. So really good. But anyway, coming back, and it was kind of nice the way this week went, because Wednesday there was no school. We had kind of what is the equivalent of the US's Labor Day, I suppose. So yeah, we did not have any school that day, so that was nice. And then Friday we had school, but it was just celebrating Children's Day, which it was on Tuesday, April 30th. That's a thing in Mexico. So it was really nice. And the way we did Children's Day this year was a different kind of format than we did in the past. But we always open up with a talent show in the auditorium. It's just so amazing. I'm always blown away at how talented our students are. I mean, we have majorly talented students, and the talent show is just always done so nicely. I just always end up feeling so proud of our students. And yeah, I get to see students who I've previously had, and yeah, that's I just love it so much. That's really the highlight every year of the Children's Day. But then after that, we had lunch, and it was great the way they did it. Usually it's a pizza lunch. This time it was like croissant sandwiches, and parents were helping serve those, and I guess they were prepared by our own cafeteria, so it was really nice. Like I said, in the past it's been pizza, which has worked out too. I mean, the kids also love pizza, but this was good. So they just got, the cafeteria staff prepared big trays. Every time the classes would come out, the parents would go and get them and then serve the kids. Plates were already set up and prepared and ready for them. It was just really, really nice. And then after that, we went to there were different stations around the school. So there was water slides in our backfield. That was great. Usually we have, what are they called? Bouncy houses in the gym, but this time they were the water slides. That was great fun. The kids loved that. There was a sports and rally station. There was a bubble station with large bubbles. The kids loved playing in that. Loved that. Carnival games. And is that it? I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I think that was it. I just thoroughly enjoyed it a lot. The kids loved it. They were exhausted, which always happens. They get out at 12 o'clock, which is kind of the nice thing. It's one of those long, short days because it's a short day, but it's so exhausting. And also, I think we are having a heat wave. It's been in the 90s. I think the other day it got up to 95. But it's, the heat down here is hot. I've just never felt that same intensity as I have here in Mexico, where I've been teaching since 2009. Just intense heat. So I think just being out in that heat, it just is exhausting. But it was so good. We enjoyed it, had a lot of fun. And then the kids left. So coming back the first week, it was a short off week. Did manage 2 team meetings, and we just have so many deadlines coming up here. We have this will be our month of assessments. We need to get all data from all assessments. So, literacy, we're talking about phonemic awareness, our high frequency words, writing records, writing samples, and then math benchmarks, end of year math benchmarks, all of that. And then the data from all of that has to be in by June 7th. So it's crazy. It's just, so much going on. I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed, but I'm getting things done. Actually, that Wednesday that we had off, like I said, we had Wednesday off due to sort of our equivalent of Labor Day, was very helpful. I pretty much worked all day, just kind of getting a template of this last trimester's progress report going, because we've recently gone from 5 bimesters, which makes no sense if you try to match that to the word bimester, because I don't know where that came from, but this is our first year going into a trimester system, which I'm really enjoying so much better. But this also means that things are different in terms of what we send out, when we send out, Anyway, so I had to kind of create a third trimester progress report for our team. I worked on that. Feeling really good about that, and now I'm in the process of writing progress reports so I can have that. Those are due this coming week. So it was really good having Wednesday off. So that's a lot of what I'm doing right now. Is just, it's going to be this, it's the month of assessing. I'm not pulling groups. I am still teaching, obviously. I have things. We're close to the end. We're not at the end. I have a lot of teaching left to do. But basically what I do whenever we're kind of in that assessment season, as I call it, I'm not sure I've ever called it that before right now, but there's always a time to start, right? So we're in assessment season. What I do is my normal teaching that I would normally do, but instead of working with groups or conferring, what I use that time with is my assessments. That's pretty much how I fit it in. So that's kind of good. I'm working on that. What else is new? We started a new unit right before we went on spring break. So we've just finished unit 4, which was our persuasive unit. It was our garden unit. So we look a lot at, environmental issues and caring for the earth and trying to understand more of that relationship of how I can keep the earth healthy and how the earth keeps me healthy. Just that relationship. It's a great unit. And then there's, at that same time, we do basically all persuasive writing. So finishing that, and then like I said, the week before we left for break, we just launched our 5th and final unit, which is kind of a nonfiction and research unit. So it's good. We learn how to read nonfiction, and students investigate and research animals, and they learn about nonfiction writing and will write about the animals that they're researching. I love this unit because it's different from what we've been doing. It's a nice break. It's a nice change from what they've been doing. They're kind of like get burned out from the last unit, and they're so ready for this. So it's nice. It's nice. And this is the first time ever in my life that, because they were kind of burned out, for writing workshop, I introduced writing pens. I know, the novelty of it, and they're so excited. Now, they don't have to use pens. I'm not really a big lover of using pens. I know many are. I've heard the arguments. I get it. But I don't know. I like pencils. But I know the kids were really done with the last unit, and they were frustrated. I made them publish their last and final persuasive writing piece. And when they took it to publishing, they rewrote everything. And I think, it's hard for them because as they're going through the revision part of it and the editing part of it, they're erasing things and correcting it. So I think by the time they're publishing and rewriting it again, they're kind of like, but I already made changes, so why do you have to rewrite the whole thing? I think if they were already writing in pen where you can't erase things and they're crossing out, then they might see, like, it might make more sense to them why they would be rewriting it at the publishing part. I don't know. Again, I'm not really convinced on pens, but I do feel like the novelty of it, and this time of the school year is more, I feel, appropriate than maybe the beginning of the school year. So I don't know, but yeah, I think they're ready for it, and just, the novelty of it. They were so excited when I introduced the pens. They were just really, really excited. I did have one kiddo who was frustrated because he did want to be able to erase his mistakes, and that was a frustrating piece. But I told him, it's, you do not have to use a pen. This is totally 100% if you want to. If you don't want to, don't use a pen. I am not forcing anyone to use a pen. But then, he's still using the pen, so I don't know. I don't know what that was. And typically what we do in this unit, the same animal unit, is at the end, once they've published, we have Kinder come over and they read their books to Kinder. It's kind of nice because it's an authentic audience and they so look forward to it, and it makes it more real to them when we start saying, you really want to be teaching it. And even though you may know about the animal, just imagine that it's a Kinder kid. And guess what? Kinder is going to be coming. So they may not know this bit of information. So you really have to be clear in what you're trying to teach. Use diagrams, labels. They will be using a glossary during this time. So just having that authentic audience and knowing that they're going to be coming is really helpful for them. They just really kind of get the idea of why they have to be so clear and really defining things in their writing, because they really know who their audience is. They're writing it with that audience in mind. And I do think that makes a huge difference. Last year, and this might have been the first year, maybe not the first year my team has done this, but that I've done it, is I had my students make costumes to go with whatever animal they're writing about. That is fun. The parents help with that. So, I just basically tell them it could be a very simple costume, because I really hate asking parents to have to do a lot. We are very fortunate in that, we do have the population of students and parents it is an affluent population. So time is definitely a luxury that they have. Most of them, there are definitely exceptions, but they have a lot of time, and these parents are very hands-on. They love doing these kind of things. So that was kind of fun. So last year when my students gave their presentation to the Kinder kids, they also got to do it with their costumes on, and it was really fun. The Kinder kids love it. The pre-first kids love it. That would be my kids, pre-first. They just love it so much. It's so nice, and I don't know, it just makes it sort of an exciting day. So yeah, we've got all of that going on. It's busy. Typically also in June we do a field trip. Last year it was to the aquarium. We try to tie in something that goes with our unit, but I don't know, I just don't know if I'm going to do that again this year. I don't know. I just don't know. It's just a lot. So I'm just at this point kind of feeling a little, that you guys know that end of year busyness. It's just a lot going on. But what I'm finding is just doing little bits at a time really helps. So yeah, I don't know. That's the best advice I can give to all of you. And like I said, I'm doing it a little at a time. It still feels overwhelming. I guess it's just, you have that last stretch that you have to get through, but there's so much going on during that time. I feel like there's something else that I'm forgetting to tell you guys that kind of adds to what we're doing, but yeah, I don't know. And then we had our student-led conferences. Oh, that was something else that we did, and that was right before spring break. So we don't actually meet with the parents. We just do meetings for anyone who we might be concerned about at this point, but not everyone. So that's coming up, but that's more, like I said, just a few students who there are concerns there. So that kind of helps. But yeah, very, very busy. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I want to say, those are really what's going on in my classroom. I will also kind of update, I recently did a couple of episodes on math workshop and how that's changed. I've just done it so completely different this year from any other year, and I recently changed so that it really is more workshop model where students have options, which is the whole idea with workshop, and I'm loving this format better. So in case you don't listen to that one, I will just kind of tell you what math workshop looks like for me right now. I open up There's about 10 minutes whole class, and we'll usually do like some videos, maybe some mental math, something like that. And then they go into their first rotation. And the first rotation, they actually are choosing between 3 to 4 stations. So station A is usually some kind of activity that ties into something we've been doing. Station B is Seesaw, and Seesaw is an app. I've also done an episode on that, but it's really nice. You can leave things for your students. I usually leave math videos, maybe some math assignments in the activities tab, and that's on the iPad, so that's kind of nice. They choose Station C, which I'm now kind of calling Creation Station. It's more of like a maker space. This last week it was kind of like create a fish with Legos, and then they can take a picture on our 6 iPad so I can see. And they do that inside of Seesaw, not to be confused with Station B, which is math activities that I leave for them. But we have 6 iPads, so I only allow 5 students in that station, so I can have the 6th one open for kids who want to take pictures and videos of their math work. So really, really enjoying Station C. Station C is going to be this next week, the Creation Station, i.e. Makerspace, will be build an animal habitat, because we are working on animal habitats this coming week. That's what we're focusing on in our animal unit. So that will be very appropriate. Looking forward to that and seeing what they can come up with. And then I recently, when I first started, I only had 3 stations, but I've recently been adding a Station D, and I kind of told the kids sometimes we'll have a Station D, sometimes we won't. Let's see, can I even remember what Station D was this last time? I don't remember. I don't know why. For the world of me, I cannot remember what I had going on in Station D. I just remember there was a Station D. It was some kind of practice of something. Don't know. Now, this week, I'm wanting to make my stations, well, B and C are really kind of always same but different. B is always Seesaw. I'm just putting different videos or activities in there for them. Station C is always Creation Station, but what they're creating changes each week. So let's see, this week, I know what it was, because now we're working on, we just finished US coins, and we're now have just started shapes. So basically I'm going to have kind of like a tangram station that will be Station A this week, and then Station D is going to be a tic-tac-toe of different terms, math terms and vocabulary, so just the different shape terms. I am now remembering what Station A was this past week. It was an animal sorting station where I have a bin of plastic animals, and their task was to sort them into like groups, by whatever attributes they decide, but then they had to draw and write about it and just explain why did they sort them. Really, it was up to them, but it just had to make sense. They had to be able to explain that. So that was fun. That was a fun station. Yeah, you guys, but that's really it. That's kind of the update of my class. I can't believe another school year is coming to an end, and I say that every year, but it's just kind of cray how fast it all goes. So that's it, you guys. It's now time for wins and fails. I would say win for the week was Wednesday when we had the day off and I worked the whole day. For me, that was a win because I was feeling a little behind because I literally did nothing over spring break. And then, of course, it felt great over spring break. And I'm not regretting it. I'm not regretting doing nothing because I do think we need that time. But it did kind of make me pause and say, maybe I could have done something, a little something. But yeah, that was a total win. I'm also going to add on Children's Day, like I said, I mean, this won't really make sense to you guys unless you're someone who is familiar with our children's day. You would have to be someone at our school. I don't think I have anyone at my school listening. But for those of you, just to kind of know, they added some new things into our children's day format, and that was just really nice. So this year, the Parents Association really became very involved in this day, which they haven't really been that involved in this day, and it was excellent. They had different stations set up with a covered tent where they had sunblock available, they had water available, they had some little snacks available, and cold watermelon just to help with hydration and everything. And it was so good. That was so awesome. I don't know what else to say except it was just superb. Fail for the week? I don't know. There's nothing really standing in my mind that didn't work. I mean, things are happening that don't work. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a perfect person. And if you've been in my classroom, you will know that all the time things are not maybe going as I planned, or there's some kind of fail. But I don't know, there's not anything major that I'm remembering. So maybe I'm just going to say for this past week, maybe there wasn't really any big fail. I don't know. So I'm going to end it on that, you guys. I'd love to hear your own updates. So if you want to tell me what's going on in your world, I'd love to hear from you. I can be reached on Twitter. That's probably the best way to reach me, at TammyJ123. That's at TAMIJ123. Until next time.
Wait a minute. Wait 1 minute. Before you go, don't forget you can catch our show notes online at www.timetoteach.libsyn. That's libsyn.com. We're also on Facebook at Time to Teach. Don't forget to check out our Facebook group, Teachers for Effective Curriculum. And if you're an educator with your own podcast show, I invite you to join our brand new Facebook group, Teachers Who Podcast. Let's grow a community where we can network, problem solve, and discuss anything and everything podcast related. I'll see you there.